This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
New at 11, keeping young people in school, off the streets, and away from crime.
Tonight, we are getting to know the leaders behind a local program that is helping change lives one kid at a time.
The program targets high-risk kids all over the city and helps them get back on track. RTV6's Nicole Griffin was there tonight as they celebrated the work being done. Work they say will ultimately reduce crime in our city.
A safe place for kids on the east side to grow and learn.
You won! Yeah.
That is the goal here at Makita Lavelle and Trip Outreach Center on Sherman Drive.
I actually grew up in this area, the Brightwood area, and man, it was rough. But to come and be able to give back now, I know what it takes, and I know what they need. I want to give it to them.
Starting the center was a dream for Fletcher Triplett and his wife, LaShawna.
We help them learn skills and trades to keep them out of prison, because a lot of times they want to do crimes, and their reasonings that they give to us is, we were hungry, or I was trying to help my mom or my dad or someone pay a bill, and we want to show them how you can do it in an earnest way.
The center's program called RACE stands for Reaching a Course of Excellence. It targets kids that have been expelled from school and need help getting back on track.
We receive calls like, my child has been expelled from school. I have nothing for them to do. They're just sitting at home. And a lot of times those youth begin to have delinquent behaviors.
Nelijah Veal is one of those students. With a new baby to take care of, she's ready to leave a life of fighting and trouble behind.
It's going to be people that always push you to do stuff, and you just got to learn that you don't have to react to them all the time, because it's not going to get you nowhere but to fail.
The Outreach Center partners with Eskenazi's Indy Heartbeat, which provides violence prevention resources, while the center focuses on tutoring and life skills.
Trustworthy, respectful, independent people. And I know if I actually teach them those life skills, they can go out here and make better decisions to help save lives, save their own life.
It's a model that is already seeing success with a 91% graduation rate, and even more than that, bringing a community together and ultimately helping reduce crime. Working for you on the east side, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
The Outreach Center is being awarded $50,000 to the city's Crime Prevention Grant Program. It is one of 54 different projects awarded. The center plans to use the money to help even more kids and offer more services to benefit their lives.
Oftentimes, crime victims are left in the dark in their fight for justice, but there's a new effort to change that.
We all come together to really send a message to victims in the state of Indiana that we hear you, we care about you, and we're going to fight for your rights in criminal court.
The Indiana Coalition for Crime Victims' Rights is working on a way to provide victims with a card that outlines their rights, like being notified of hearings and giving a victim impact statement. Advocates say confusion in the criminal justice system often leaves survivors feeling powerless.
We know they go through the investigative process and tell their story many times, possibly being re-traumatized over and over again. And then, when the state hopefully picks up the case, then they are kind of just lost in that, because now, they don't have the ability to decide where that goes.
Some counties have victim advocates that work alongside police and prosecutors, but many parts of Indiana do not.
An Indiana woman found guilty of injecting feces into her son's IV is set to learn her sentence on December 6th. The case dates back to 2016 after hospital staffers discovered surveillance video showing Tiffany Albers using a syringe to inject a substance in her 15-year-old son's IV bag. He was being treated for cancer at the time. Today, the Marion County prosecutor announced the court convicted Alberts of 6 counts of aggravated battery.
We could find out in 2 months if the owners of a troubled Northside apartment complex can return to not paying taxes. Today, the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals held a hearing on a request to reinstate the tax-exempt status for Lakeside Point at Nora. The board gave the property 60 days before it takes up the issue again. For months, RTV6 has been working for you, holding the owner of the apartment accountable for health code violations and residents living in unhealthy conditions. You can find our extensive reporting on this issue on our website at theindychannel.com and the RTV6 app.
Now to the forecast, and you can see where another round of storms is impacting central Indiana, and the area is being spared as well. Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kyle Mounts is working for you, tracking the rain.
And Mark, that rain has been confined to northern portions of Indiana this evening and stretches back into Illinois with not only some heavy rainfall, but quite a bit of lightning. Now, the good news is haven't had any severe weather threat or warnings out of this recently, but you can see as this continues to build to the south, would impact around the Fowler area here as we get a little closer to midnight. We still have, though, that marginal or isolated threat from Petersburg, Kokomo, and Peru and areas to the north that a couple of those storms could have possibly some gusty winds and hail, but you can see on TrueCast here as we go through the overnight, those storms continuing to become more scattered and less intense as we go into tomorrow morning. Looking pretty good. Temperatures staying mild tonight with partly cloudy skies. We're in the upper 60s.
Items stolen in a string of burglaries on the north side could be returned to their rightful owners. Tonight we learned police have arrested 2 people in connection to the crimes and recovered several stolen goods that were reported missing. 21-year-old Tyrell Wilson and 60-year-old Brian Reynolds face burglary charges. Police say they may be connected to break-ins in other parts of the city. And police say a fight between 2 women in separate cars led to a shooting on the southeast side. Officers were called to a liquor store parking lot on Southeastern and Arlington Avenues around 8 o'clock this evening. A woman in her 30s was taken to the hospital in serious condition with a gunshot wound. Investigators have identified a potential suspect.
Working for you, RTV6 is getting answers for people in Muncie who are frustrated with stopped trains causing major disruptions. These new frustrations come a week after we heard from first responders and schools about delays due to stopped trains. Now we're hearing from other people impacted, like Myra Robeson. Myra is blind and relies on the Muncie, Indiana transit system to get her job, to her job as a massage therapist. Trains blocking intersections can make her late, leading to canceled appointments and fees. And a veteran bus driver says the transit system is short on drivers because people don't want to deal with the delays and detours.
We've had trains on the track a couple of times I know of 4 hours at least that I know of, and a couple times it was right at rush hour traffic.
Vital intersections straight to the hospital are blocked for half an hour, hour at a time.
Norfolk Southern Corporation tells RTV6 it is working with its transportation team to review local operations in Muncie. If a train blocks a crossing for an extended period of time, you can call Norfolk Southern Police at 1-800-946-4744.
Now to the latest on the impeachment inquiry surrounding President Trump. House Democrats are taking their first solid steps in the investigation, issuing subpoenas for documents from Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Depositions for other State Department officials are also being scheduled, and Kurt Volker, a former U.S. ambassador to NATO, caught in the middle of the whistleblower complaint, has resigned as special envoy to Ukraine. And Vice President Mike Pence did not say anything about the impeachment proceedings during his time in central Indiana today. He made several stops, including a visit to the Neurodiagnostic Institute, a state mental health facility on the east side of Indianapolis. He also went to Camp Atterbury and made a surprise trip to Southside Elementary School in his hometown of Columbus.
The Pacers Bike Share program is encouraging the community to come together through bike rides. If you missed tonight's community ride, there will be more in October. This evening, riders started at the Julian Carson Transit Center downtown. Organizers say it's a great way to learn more about the Bike Share program and how to get around the city on 2 wheels.
So we have a network of trails and greenways, again, that people can use to get around the city. It's just knowing about them and knowing how to access them. Rides free.
Pacers Bike Share will host free community rides each Monday in October.
To say they were shocked would be an understatement.
Coming up, the attorney for an Indiana man accused of abandoning his young daughter sheds new light on the bizarre case.
And I'm Dave First at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Pacers Media Day with new faces literally at every turn. That story coming up here on RTV6.
And from traffic safety to funding concerns, no matter the issue, when you ask RTV6 for help, RTV6 works for you. A a safety concern at a major intersection, and more drivers are complaining about it.
State Road 135 and Meridian School Road on the south side is a major intersection. But over the last few months, drivers say the traffic signals stop working, going to a flashing red light, causing major backups in this high traffic area. We reached out to see what is being done and what the problem is here at this intersection. An INDOT spokeswoman tells me crews have been out Monday, Tuesday, and back out Wednesday here. They did have to replace some wiring that was not working properly, but they tell me the light should now be working.
A funding shortage has put the future of Joyce House Adult Day and Caregiving Center in jeopardy.
With the changing funding climate, we're in trouble.
The nonprofit operation could be closed by the end of next year. And while the future doesn't look so bright right now, McIntosh and the staff at Joyce House are not giving up.
Working for you, the community is stepping up to help an Indianapolis organization after RTV6 told you it is facing a funding crisis. Joyce House has raised $200,000 since we first told you about the situation last week. It's in danger of shutting its doors due to a decrease in donations and new cuts to Medicaid. The nonprofit in Broad Ripple provides caregiver services to adults who need a little extra help. The group still has a long way to go. The fundraising goal is $559,000.
Find more GMCBuick.com.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Pretrial conferences are scheduled in December for the divorced couple accused of abandoning their child. Michael and Christine Barnett both pled not guilty to neglect charges in court today in Tippecanoe County. An attorney for Michael Barnett shared new info about his client's defense. He believes the Barnetts were the victims of fraud when they adopted the girl in 2010 and that she was really an adult at the time.
Where they've been thrust into this sort of carnival atmosphere where they've been alleged to have done something very heinous by abandoning a child when in fact that was not the case. And at all times they themselves, in my opinion, based on what I've discovered, they were likely the victims of some sort of fraud or ruse perpetrated upon them.
Attorney Terrence Kennard says he will soon have an opportunity to interview the adopted daughter through a deposition process. You can read much more about this complicated case in the RTV6 app.
Now to Hiring Hoosiers, an RTV6 initiative helping you make career connections. The Indiana State Police Department is looking for officers to protect and serve the state capitol. Starting salary is nearly $45,000. You must be a U.S. citizen and at least 21 years old when appointed as a police employee. The deadline to apply is October 21st. For more details on benefits and requirements, go to hiringhoosiers.com. A classic event in downtown Indianapolis. Bands, cheer squads, and fans gathered on Monument Circle this afternoon for the annual pep rally ahead of tomorrow's Circle City Classic. Kentucky State will take on Jackson State at Lucas Oil Stadium at 3 o'clock. The parade steps off at 10:30 tomorrow morning.
And I think we'll have some pretty good weather for it in Indianapolis. We had it for today's pep rally, but as we go to the north, that's where we've had showers and thunderstorms. Areas around Lafayette through Monticello and into Peru have picked up 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, and the majority of the rain remaining just off to our north and west this evening. But you can see a few showers now starting to develop here in Benton County around the Fowler area, and we will have a few more of those sliding through during the overnight. But again, mainly some heavy rain threats confined to the northern portion of the area. Temperatures have remained cool where we've had the rain. 67 right now in Tipton. Here at 75 in Bloomington and 76 in downtown. By tomorrow morning, yeah, we're going to start off a lot warmer than where we were this morning. Instead of the 50s, 66 degrees in Noblesville, close to 70 Greenwood, Columbus, and Bloomington, Rushville as well. As we look hour by hour throughout your Saturday forecast, a little more in the way of some cloud cover here, and temperatures still going to make their way back into the 80s, so they will not be held back with some clouds, as we'll still have a southwest breeze. That should not be as gusty as what we had this afternoon either. As we check out TrueCast, 6 o'clock in the morning, there's a couple of those showers left over here, and that'll be probably the best chance of seeing any wet weather north of I-70 as we go through the first half of the day. We go into your Saturday afternoon, partly sunny skies, but I do think it's going to be dry for us. We'll once again, though, have a bit of a temperature range. It's going to feel like summer in the Columbus area at 90 degrees, 86 for the high in Indianapolis, but around Peru, Kokomo, Lafayette, temperatures only making their way upper 70s to around 80 degrees. So So if you are going to be heading to some of the college football games, maybe to South Bend for the Notre Dame game there, we'll have temperatures in the lower 70s, some scattered showers around. Meanwhile, for the Purdue game in West Lafayette, 3:30 kick there, 80 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. On Sunday for the Colts game, nice weather for tailgating. Once again, I think we'll be dry in the downtown area at 73. As we go into the afternoon, isolated chance for a shower or storm, but temperatures continuing to warm up here as we get back into the 80s, and we'll dial up that heat even a little bit more into early next week. We're talking about high temperatures in the lower 90s. Those would be record setters on Monday and Tuesday, close to a record again on Wednesday. 7-day planning forecast, put it all together for you, and with the summer warmth, a fairly dry stretch of weather here as we go into the end of the week. That's where things change once again. Chance for a couple of showers or storms coming our way on Thursday. And it feels like fall finally by Thursday and Friday. Temperatures about 20 degrees cooler than we're expecting on Monday.
Those hot days keep getting hotter on the 7-day forecast.
Yeah, record territory here. Yeah. Shorts for sure.
Fall's not here quite yet.
Yeah, when we get to week 7 of the high school football season, that'd be next week. The shorts.
We're going to be wanting these days.
That will be for the bold crew out there at that point. Hey, we got some great games for you here tonight as some unbeaten teams put it on the line here in week number 6. We will have a recap of all those, including a couple wild ones coming up next.
The only name you need to know.
From RTV6, this is Friday Football Frenzy.
Woo! Indeed. Dante Akins from Lutheran getting us started tonight. We were out there at 6. The Saints taking on Cecina. Great first half for Lutheran. Blake White up top. Joe Fabian in the end zone. Great grab. First score of the game. They go back, they look at the video, they liked it so much, do it again. This one coming right at you. Lutheran looking good. They go on to a 42-21 win, a perfect 5-0. They play at Monrovia next week. And here we go on week number 6 of the high school football season. Thanks for joining us here this final Friday night of September. I am Brad Brown. We'll hear from Dave first coming up in just a couple of minutes. Teams all over the area have been playing some great football this season. It's been more than 2 decades since Franklin had a run like this. The Grizzly Cubs 5-0, going for 6. Packed house down there tonight as they take on Mooresville. It was 28-28 at halftime. This got it started in the third, a pick 6. Franklin's D coming up with it. Reed Roberts going all the way for the score. So the Grizzly Cubs go back in the lead. Mooresville got the next 2 scores. Biggest run of the night here. Brecken Green gets through, and he gets gone. 70 yards later, 42-35. Pioneers take the lead. Franklin would come marching right back early in the 4th quarter. Drew Byerly taking a look for Christian McClure. He goes up and muscles it away from the DB. It's 42-42. With a minute to go, though, the biggest call of the night. 4th down and 5. Mooresville goes for it. Over the top, Braden Evans with the catch. A 45-yard touchdown there. Gives them the lead, but they needed one more stop from the defense. Coach Gillen can't believe it. Dane Stevenson and Tommy O'Connor come up with the final stop. There it is. What a game, what a night. 49-42 for Mooresville. A huge bounce back after a disappointing finish 1 week ago.
I mean, after last week, it was such a disappointing loss last week. We felt like we kind of controlled that one like this one, and then it looked like the pick here let it get away late. But proud of my guys for hanging in there. It's so tough when you put points up and barely get over there on the sidelines and they go right down and score.
Mooresville has won 5 of the last 6 meetings against Franklin. Best game in the MIC tonight. Carmel and North Central. Some leads changing hands. This with under 7 minutes to go. Solomon Williams slinging one for Carmel. Colton Parker there. One play, 60-yard drive. That's the way to do it. Hounds take the lead on the PAT as North Central had the lead in this one. They come back. Panthers, Harry Abel throws it to the pylon. Thera Johnson goes and gets it. They missed the 2-point conversion, so it's still a 2-point game. North Central got a stop, got it back with a minute to go. Able to Richard Hamilton. Watch him finish it off. Look at the sideline all fired up. That turned out to be the game winner. North Central's first win in 14 years over Carmel. Panthers are now 4-2. Warren Central takes the lead in the MIC tonight with Carmel's loss in this one. Just 34 teams in the entire state made it to this Friday with a perfect 5-0 record. Avon, #1 in Class 6A, is one of just 4 of those biggest schools in the state still undefeated. They got a strong test tonight at Fishers. The Tigers took a 14-0 lead in the first quarter, but the Orioles dominated the second half. Henry Hess into Joe Hall gets open behind the defense. That put the Orioles up 2 touchdowns early in the fourth, and then the Avon QV making something out of nothing on the run. Hessen got through the blitz. Got through the rest of the defense as well down the sidelines for the 40-yard score. Avon with a shutout in the second half, their 6th straight win. They're home against Westfield next week. Let's finish one off back down to Johnson County. Whiteland hosting Martinsville. Whiteland, the orange and blue unis are one of my favorites. Strange play in the first quarter. Martinsville's pass is deflected. Ewan Nickham with the pick, but he stepped out of the end zone and back in. That, my friends, is a safety. So 2 points for Martinsville there. They would get the ball back as well and put some more points on the board. Tyler Cox runs that one in. All Martinsville early, all Whiteland after we left. Look at the Warriors getting the win, 25-16. They even their record at 3-3 on the season. We are less than a month away from the start of the Pacers' new season. The team will actually play a pair of games in Mumbai, India next weekend. Before all of that, time to get this new look group together for Media Day. Our Dave First spent the morning with the new team.
Championships over here. Came to the good side, huh?
They are, without question, the new look Pacers. New faces and new places, 9 to be exact, from Malcolm Brogdon, TJ Warren, and more. Nate McMillan's back in a summer that was, frankly, a blur.
I was telling someone, it was going really slow in May and June, and then I seemed like I blinked, and here we are in training camp.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's good? Everybody good? Yep. That's good. I'm great, too.
Also back is Victor Oladipo. 8 months removed from that ruptured quad tendon, he'll take part in some of the training camp drills. His rehab continues, and so does that positive Vic attitude. With a thing he's really working on?
My mind. With rehab, it pretty much speaks for itself. It's pretty strategic, but your mind is another muscle that you need to work on through this process. So for me, that's what I'm focused on, is building my mind to be at game shape.
What's up, bro?
Philosophical and on the fast track for a comeback. When that picture-perfect finish is really the only question.
I don't anticipate Victor being available for a while, and I don't really know what a while is.
We got other great players, Jeremy Lamb, TJ Warren, guys that are going to fill in for him while he's gone. But when he gets back, he's an all-star. He's a great player, so I'm excited to get on the floor with him.
I believe we got very special pieces, and I believe we have a chance to be a very special team. And it's going to be up to us how special we want to be.
Vic says you'll like this year's team, and if that's the case, you might love next year's team, and the year after that, and the year after that. This is a very young team, all these guys with multi-year contracts still left, and timing's of the essence. That home opener comes up October 23rd, less than a month, against the Pistons. At the Fieldhouse, Dave First, RTV6 Sports.
Pacers have a very busy October coming up. They will leave for India the first of next week. There's a pair of games in Mumbai this next Friday and Saturday. Back home for the preseason. They'll be home twice. The first of those 2 weeks from tonight on the 11th. As Dave said, the regular season starts at home. Looking forward to seeing the blue and gold for sure. Time for one more break. Back to finish up the news at 11 next.
People who visit a park in Westfield will be greeted with positive messages courtesy of young students.
Today, 4th graders from Oak Trace Elementary created artwork at Asa Bales Park. They painted a mural on an outside wall of the restroom building with the theme of kindness. The art project is part of a bigger partnership between Westfield schools and the city.
Students also designed the playground at the park.
Nice day for the park this weekend. As we look at those storms, they're generally moving to the northeast and then a little bit east, strengthening a bit. Some of those clipping portions of Benton County and eventually into White County. Could have some gusty winds and some small hail. Going into the weekend, though, it's mainly about the heat. Just an isolated shower or storm here or there. We're in the middle 80s, and yeah, we're back in the 90s Monday and Tuesday.
So enjoy some summertime for your weekend.
That's right. And thanks for being here with us this evening. You're hot already, aren't you?
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
These boys.